Jared Polin, FronosPhoto.com, and this is a preview of a brand new lineup of cameras that Nikon has created called the DL series of cameras. Now, there are 3 different versions. That's right, 3 different versions, but they pretty much have the same specifications, but have different lens choices. And I want to run you through the specifications and what they offer right now. So here are the 3 versions. You have the DL 24 to 85 millimeter with a variable aperture 1.8 to 2.8 lens. You have the DL 18 to 50, which sports a 1.8 to 2.8 aperture, just like the other one, but it has a better lens option because it has nano crystal coatings on this version. And then you have the DL 24 to 500 millimeter mega zoom with a variable aperture of 2.8 to 5.6. Now keep in mind, these are mirrorless cameras because they don't have a mirror. So let's get into the specifications. You have a 20.8 megapixel CX size sensor, which is a 1-inch BSI CMOS sensor. The ISO range is 160 to 6400 with a high of 12,800 in the PSA and M mode. Now what that means is if you are in the auto modes, you will not be able to access the 12,800, but in the manual setting modes, you will have that option. Now here's something interesting. It does 20 frames per second. That's right, 20 frames per second, or it will do up to 60 frames per second with the first picture locked, meaning the AF is locked in. It will do 60 frames a second. It is a high-speed hybrid AF that is 105 phase detection points, but 171 total focusing points. And it's 171 contrast detection. Now, it does shoot RAW NEF just like the Pro camera, so you have RAW options. You also have dual detect optical VR, which helps with camera shake from your hand shaking, but also when you're shooting with slow shutter speeds. Now, it has the same menus or similar menus that you would find in a DSLR, and I think what Nikon is trying to do here is say that professionals would want to carry around one of these cameras in comparison to taking their DSLR with them everywhere. So I'll break down which series of cameras, which options I think are best for pros, amateurs, and people alike. What else do we have here? It supports RAW NEF plus full PS/A&M controls. I'm not sure where those controls are. It's a little hard to tell on the photos where your shutter speed control is going to be, but we'll have to see when we get it in our hands. Now, they each have a 3-inch OLED touch display, where the first 2 models, the 24 to 85 and the 18 to 50, sport the one that flips up 180 degrees, so you can do selfie mode, and in the 24 to 500, you have a fully articulating screen. Now, the first 2 models do not have a viewfinder built in, whereas the 24 to 500 does have a built-in viewfinder. I'm a big fan of needing a viewfinder. Now, Nikon has a solution to that. So what are they calling this? They are calling it the DF-E1, which is a add-on accessory to give you a viewfinder option. Now, if you're already spending a couple bucks on the camera, you're gonna have to spend even more to go ahead and get this viewfinder if you want a viewfinder for the first 2 models. I didn't say what cards it takes. It takes SD cards, which is pretty normal for these days. It has a snap bridge technology, which has always on Bluetooth, which is pretty cool, as well as Wi-Fi and NFC. We're seeing a lot of those options for transferring your photos right from your camera to get to your phone so you can share them with the world, edit them how you want to do. And in the video options, it does 4K at 30 frames a second. So it's 4K UHD at 30 frames a second, which is pretty nice to have in a compact camera like this. So let's get to the pricing. The DL 24 to 85 is $649.99. Sorry, $649.95. The 18 to 50 is $849.95, and the 24 to 500 is $999.95. So who are they for? I feel that the one for me as a professional would be the 18 to 50 because it has a wider lens with a better lens on there with the nano crystal coating. Now, if you want a little bit more of a range, a little more zoom range, you don't want to spend as much, then that's where you go with the 24 to 85 version. And if you're just looking for one camera to travel with to give you the biggest zoom that you can find, the 24 to 500 is going to be a great option for you if you are traveling. So as a professional, for me, having the RAW files, having the menu system being similar, having all those autofocus points, the 20 frames a second, 60 if you lock it, but let's just call it 20 frames a second, that is pretty impressive. Now, it's only going to be I'll only be able to tell you how great they are or how good they are once I use them and see how easy it is to use the manual controls. But that is where I'll leave it. There's some pretty pricey cameras at $649 all the way up to $1,000, but if this is something for you, those are the options. Let me know what you think, and that is a preview of this DL series of Nikon cameras. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.